Chapter 25 The End of the World The Plague. The people who lived in the Middle Ages had to face one invading army after another. Muslims, Vikings, Crusaders, Mongols, Russians, and Turks. But the most dangerous enemy of all wasn't an army. It was a sickness that spread across the world and killed more people than all these armies put together. At first, strange stories began to come out of the distant parts of China. Travelers told about a mysterious illness that killed almost everyone who caught it. It began with terrible headaches and high fevers. The sick coughed, sneezed, and suffered from terrible pains in their arms and legs. Swollen lumps as large as baseballs appeared under their arms. Rumor said that 35 million people had died from this sickness. Soon the rumors became reality. People who lived near the Black Sea began to grow sick. In the villages and plains nearby, hundreds died. An old story tells us that the villagers blamed foreign merchants from Italy for bringing the sickness. They gathered into an army and drove the Italian merchants into the city of Cathay, at the edge of the Black Sea. The people of Cathay and the Italian merchants barred the gates and fought back. So the attackers put the dead bodies of those who had died from the sickness into catapults and hurled them over the walls. Soon illness broke out in Cathay as well. The Italian merchants panicked. They ran from Cathay, boarded their ships, and sailed back home to Italy. But by the time they got there, almost everyone on board the ships were sick or dead. The people of Italy refused to let them come ashore. But despite this, the sickness soon appeared on land. It spread through Italy, up into Europe, across the sea to England, and down into North Africa. Millions of people died. No one could stop the sickness, which people called the Black Death. An Italian writer named Giovanni Boccaccio, who lived during the Black Death, describes it in his book The Decameron. Here is a retelling of part of his story. Doctors were helpless. Most people who got sick died within 3 days. Anyone who came near the sick or touched their clothing became sick also. With my own eyes, I saw the clothes of a beggar who died of plague thrown out into the road. 2 pigs came along and nosed at the clothes. Not an hour later, both pigs began to turn round, and then, just as if they had been poisoned, dropped dead in the road. Thousands of people grew sick every day, and there was no one left to take care of them. Many fell down in the streets and died where they lay. Bodies were everywhere. There were so many dead that there were not enough priests to bury them all. Many times a priest would begin to lead a funeral procession, and then would look behind him and find that 3 or 4 other coffins had fallen in behind him to join the burial service. And when the bodies arrived at the churchyards, they were thrown into huge trenches with hundreds of others, covered only with a thin layer of dirt. When the sickness came to the cities, many people shut themselves up in their houses and refused to come out. Others pretended that nothing was wrong, and went about singing and eating and drinking and having parties at all hours. They wandered into any house they pleased, and used it as their own, and no one cared because so many houses were left empty by the dead. Some carried with them, no matter where they went, flowers and scented herbs that they held to their noses. Others left the city and fled into the country, but many of these people fell sick as well. Farmers died, their crops lay ungathered in the fields, and their oxen and donkeys wandered free into the fields, glutting themselves with grain. Oh, how many lords and ladies died, leaving their rich houses empty! How many families perished, leaving not a single heir! How many brave men, beautiful women, and strong youths ate breakfast in the morning with their families and friends, and then that same evening ate supper with their ancestors in the world which is to come. And there were no tears, nor candles, or mourners. So many died that soon no one paid any more attention to dead bodies of people than they did to the dead bodies of goats. Today, scientists know that the Black Death was an illness called bubonic plague. The plague was an infection carried by fleas that lived on rats. When traders moved along the Silk Road from China back towards the Black Sea, the rats came with them, eating the grain they carried and hiding in their bales of cloth. The rats and the fleas ran through the countryside and into the city of Cathay. When the Italian traders left Cathay, the rats went with them in the cargo holds of their ships, and when the Italian ships arrived back in Italy, the rats ran down the anchor ropes onto shore, even though the sick sailors stayed on board. From there, the fleas that carried the disease went from rat to rat all over Europe. Rats were everywhere in the Middle Ages. Cities threw their garbage and leftover food into the streets, so there was always plenty of food for them. And wherever the rats went, the Black Death went with them. But the people of the Middle Ages didn't know that rats were spreading the disease. Some thought that the plague was the judgment of God. Others thought that it had been caused by earthquakes, evil spirits, or bad food. No one knew how to prevent it. They carried flowers and herbs with them, ate onions and garlic to keep sickness away, and slept on their stomachs instead of their backs so that sickness wouldn't settle down in their noses at night. But nothing helped. One medieval history tells us, "So many died that all believed it was the end of the world."